right. Welcome everyone to the virtual Pack Walker Summit. My name is Rachel Martinez. I am your host for this evening. Myself and my partner Andrew run the Healing Pack. We're a pack walking and dog training business here in Los Angeles. And tonight I have the pleasure of introducing my dear friend Renee. Renee runs Dingo Doggies. She started out as a pack walker and has adapted into a really incredible dog daycare dynamic, a structured dog daycare, and has helped many dogs and owners over the years. Without further ado, I will pass it over to Renee. We'll ask you to unmute and let you take it away.
Hi guys. Awesome. Super nervous. It only just hit me. I have written everything down. Apologies, I won't be looking straight in the camera because otherwise I will just ramble on and I won't know where I am. So yeah, that's how it's going to be. So first of all, I just want to thank Rachel and Andrew. You've put together this amazing summit, and all of the speakers have been incredible and exceptional. The information has been so valuable, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this become even better in the future. I think, we've all seen just how successful it has been so far. So I'll introduce myself, and I'm Renee, Renee Bogarts. I'm from Dingo Doggies. So I'll give you.
And Renee, I just want to make sure you know that your camera is off.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Okay, perfect.
I have my glasses off at first. So that's me.
There we go.
So I'm Renee from Dingo Doggies. And I'll first, just like everybody else, I'll give you a quick rundown of what transpired before I started on this dog journey and how I got started in the profession. So I originally came to the US in 1999 to study acting in New York. I fell in love. I got married in 2006, and I found myself in an abusive marriage. I didn't have a green card or a car and was basically living in a shack in Topanga, all alone. He had isolated me from talking to my family at home and also any friends. All I would do all day was sit in that house and cook and clean, and then he would come home and tell me about all the things that I was doing wrong. I rescued a dog that was aggressive towards men and children. I named her Lola. So once I rescued Lola, I filled my days with watching Cesar Millan on repeat from the bed, watching Animal Planet and Discovery Channel, and just consuming any information that I could on dog behavior on my mission to heal Lola. And now I can see I was actually trying to save her as I didn't know how to save myself from the situation I was in. As time progressed, Lola showed me what was helping her and what wasn't as I experimented with all of this new information I was learning. She was making great strides. Then I felt sorry for the dog next door, and I asked the neighbor if I could take her on our daily walks. She's not friendly and she doesn't like other dogs, is what he told me. Well, I needed a new challenge and a new distraction from my reality. So I said, please let me try. By keeping both dogs away from each other while instructing them to just walk, Foxy relaxed, and by the end of the week of twice daily walks, they adored each other. It was that quick. Neighborhood people had also noticed the change in my dog and began asking me for help. So I helped them, always for free, as I refused to take money because I just thought I don't know what I'm doing, so I shouldn't be charging. Then in a dramatic fashion, I got away from the abusive husband. And that story is sensationally crazy, but it's way too long for this segment. I was then awarded a green card via the Violence Against Women Act with Homeland Securities, and that took 2 years to complete. I completed it in 2011, and now I had a green card and could work. I then pursued a new life, going on auditions, which meant that I really was just a working waitress. I also adopted an angel pit bull named Harlow, as my ex kept Lola. Then disillusioned with the entertainment industry, as well as the restaurant industry of working long hours. And another painful breakup from my next relationship, who at least was kind and not abusive, I just said, fuck it. I just want to be with my dog, Harlow. So I started Dingo Doggies. I just wanted to walk dogs, I thought. I naturally gravitated to the dogs that had problems. I liked the challenge, but I think more than that, I had experience helping like the problem dogs. So I felt that I could help them. And if I could try, then I needed to. So I was raised to always leave things better than I found them. And if this is a business that we want to get into, I believe we have an obligation to not contribute to their behavioral issues. By nature, I'm a safety girl first and foremost, so I naturally didn't want chaos with the dogs. So I implemented structure and rules. I wanted to be safe in the car. So I taught the dogs to enter and exit the car calmly. I also taught them to just sit. They could choose to sit or lie down, but I didn't want any playing and craziness in the car. I needed to be safe while I was driving these dogs around. I taught them not to impulsively want to jump in or out of the car when the door was opened. And most importantly, I only took a new dog once I felt that my pack and I were ready and we were safe. So then my clients started commenting, "What are you doing with my dog, Renee? Because you're not just walking them." And at first I was a little offended, and then they reiterated that their dog was just becoming so much better behaviorally. And that's when the referrals poured in. So with this feedback from the clients, it just inspired me to teach the pups more. Then came the infamous pack lineup, as we all know, that everybody loves to do. And also our Friendship Friday Circle video, which was the start of our impulse control exercises. I also learned very quickly that excitement was the enemy when it came to working with dogs. So I guided them to do everything in a calm manner. My tips: safety is your number one priority. Safety is created with the implementation of rules that are consistently practiced. Ongoing education is key to grow in your craft as well as be better for your dogs. I started watching Sherry Wolf Lucas videos, which I found to be similar, but rather more a softer approach than Caesar's. She's my go-to for understanding more on dog behavior. And I also watched Rachel. We started about the same time, and at first I admit the interest was fueled by competitive nature. But quickly I found food for thought and inspiration watching her growth, experiences, and thoughts. Although I did not have the courage to share any of mine, I kept them very close to my chest. I guess just scared of being judged, and also feeling like I didn't know what I was doing. I was just figuring it out. My competitiveness very soon left me, and I would watch others learn from or even form the opinion that I didn't agree with their practices. And that was okay because it was simply more information to learn from, not to be better or judge, as we're all on our own path. And whatever I saw that I didn't agree with, it's just because I didn't know anything about that style. Oh, sorry, I got to switch to my phone. And as everybody here has also reiterated many times, shit's going to go wrong. After the incident, I always took a moment. I looked at how it started, what I could have implemented for it to have never started. How could I have handled it better for next time? Where did I lose control? Am I doing too much for my skill set or the dogs? My safety record is through the roof now, only because I implement changes from learning from my mistakes. I embrace mistakes now. Mistakes, accidents, and failures are all the gold that we need to learn from, not judge ourselves for. Staying away from being a reactive leader and being the instructor and creator of how everything will go. I find that as humans, we are reactive to our dogs instead of being proactive. So, this is the main reason I feel for all dog problems. We don't teach what we want, we react and just try to put out fires. Set up picking up calm dogs. That was really important for me. When I would come to a house and the dog would be running around and I'm trying to chase and catch it, and then I'm having to spend so much time trying to get it calm because I don't want to bring that excitement into a very small space of dogs, was very important. So I learned to be much stricter with my clients. And if their dog was that way, I would let them know they need to be crated for pickup to start setting that in. Rules in the car. There's no playing, no excitement. I would reinforce to be seated in the car. So to this day, when we do all of our pickups, the dogs get in and they immediately fall asleep. Respect and structure. Creating space for new dogs and getting working first. Meeting, sniffing, all of that stuff comes later. Once the excitement and desire to meet has dissipated, then they can softly greet. Showing the new dog that I'm advocating for their space and vice versa. My pack needs to see that this new dog is not an intrusion, and I am the one in charge of advocating for everybody's space. Creating a new association for them of what other dogs mean. A lot of people, I just did a post today about socialization. People think that socialization is dogs playing. It's not. That's excitement and that's play, and that's not the main meal, it's dessert. So I really worked hard to get the dogs to understand that their new association with other dogs was working together, traveling together. Consistency in our relationship with our client dogs is key to avoiding a management type experience. I never wanted to just manage a bunch of dogs. If you don't repeat what you like and show them what is required in each moment, then you're asking for them to figure it out and react upon how they feel. Guidance is what helps them feel safe. Also, I learned to create a pack of likeness. Slow, older dogs, small dogs versus athletic dogs, and really knowing. So, are you more athletic? Do you want to go? Do you want to run? Do you want to do really long hikes? Know what kind of dogs you want to work with, because they all have different exercise and fulfillment needs. And if you're putting a little old 14-year-old dog with some young Belgian Malinois 2-year-old, it's not really going to be compatible, and you're not going to be able to fill each individual dog's needs. And my big motto, dogs don't lie. Listen to what they're showing you. When you first start walking with a dog, what is the dog communicating to you? That it's used to leading? Is it pushing in and disrespecting people and dogs? Is the dog fearful, anxious, nervous? Does it not want to be near the dogs? Is the dog overly confident, pushy, dominant? And adjusting accordingly. I found that learning in real time and learning from each dog I worked with as safely as possible. So that was my main key, was actually the best teacher for me, along with the information that I had consumed for those 2 years living in that little hellhole shack in Topanga. And I'm a very prideful person, so this one was very hard for me. I finally learned to say no when dogs were beyond my experience. I would always try to figure it out, and that's fine in the beginning, but the bigger your pack becomes, the more the importance is the pack. And if you're not able to assimilate that dog, they're beyond the scope of work. So in wrapping up, Dingo Doggies and all of the dogs I have worked with really filled my maternal need to mother. I never had children, it's not on the cards, but there's not a hole there. However, very quickly I learned that discipline is the form of love that they need first and foremost. before I can have my cuddle time and the affection that I want. So thank you so much for listening to me, guys. And once again, thank you for having me on. And that's about all I've got to spit out.
Oh, Renee, you're just one of my favorite people in dog professionals. You bring so much integrity and quality to what we do. And just like, it's equally been a pleasure over the years to watch you. And I can totally agree. When we first met each other, I was like, who is this lady and what is she doing? And we met up for that first walk, and I was like, oh my God, Renee's amazing. I love her. Like, I need her in my life. And you've just been such a support over the years. Like, having you in my circle has always just been such a blessing. And I'm just really excited for more people to get the opportunity to learn from you, especially when it comes like to this daycare thing. I have some ideas that I'd like to help support you with, because I just really think you bring so much to the scene. Like, there's so many daycares out there that are struggling, and just like the realness that you bring around your story and how you got to where you're at, and honestly just like the brilliance of the program that you put together is really something to attest to, you know.
Thank you. Thank you. The hard thing is, we are so busy. We just get so busy. There's always somebody needing help and needing help and needing help. And you don't want to say no. And there comes a point where you're just juggling things. And we don't get to see each other. Like, that's the sad thing, is like, we have this amazing thing that you just put together. And I'm like, wow, I really like these people, you know. And hearing the stories, like the other day, Debbie from Bark and Barrel, oh, I want to ask you a question. And then I just, ah. And I think it's just, once I got off, I was like, wow, I really lost my shit there. But I think it's just a testament to how lonely it can feel, that we're giving, and our cup gets emptier and emptier and emptier. And we don't have time to connect with people that are in the exact same situation.
Yeah.
And that support, like, I still need to go through everybody's stuff. I've caught up on a lot of people's, but I think that's really needed for our industry, because it can be very lonely. And dogs are amazing.
Yeah.
But I also think that the people who choose to work with dogs not don't like people, but maybe have been hurt by people and don't really connect with people as well, and feel like they can be around dogs and give them what they need,
Yeah.
and more of a safer space, you know?
1,000%. I mean, like, that's literally why I started working with dogs. And to be fair, like, the longer that I worked with dogs, the more intensive dogs I chose to take that would keep people from connecting with me. Like, I put a very good force field of shitty dogs.
Yeah,
I
I
don't want
think
to say shitty dogs, dogs that were not compatible matches for me, that I thought that I could just like prove my worth through fixing. I mean, we've shared a few of those dogs sometimes where we're like, maybe we'll make that dog right. There's one bulldog I'm thinking of in particular where I'm just
Bentley.
like, Renee and I
Bentley.
both tried our best. Yeah. And we were not going to fix this dog. This was not a fixing dog. And honestly, like, the owners weren't even doing anything like drastically wrong. There's a lot of genetic stuff. This dog had a lot of drive.
Yeah. So I think we put a lot of self-worth into, we're going to be the ones that are going to set
Totally.
them free. Um,
Yeah.
and you do. You get these amazing moments and you're like, yes, 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 I've cracked the code. I've got it. And you see them get to this spot. But there are some dogs that, as much as you get them there, and even like, I was like, let me analyze this situation. What did I do wrong? And it's like, nothing.
Yeah.
Like, now we're at this point with this growth, and I can't make sense of this, right?
Sure.
So yeah, and I guess it's very humbling. Like yesterday, it's very humbling when you're just like, okay, I can't do it. I can't. I I lost this one. Like, this is not, you know. And you always just want to be like, every single one, I'm going to
Yeah.
be free and be
I
the. I've got the knowledge. I've got the experience. I got what everybody else can't do. And then
Totally. I had a dog that I walked for 7 years. That was the most reactive dog that I'd ever walked. I could not fix him, but I kept trying for 7 years. I knew after the first 2 weeks, this was a different dog than every other dog that I worked with. And
yeah,
when I did finally let the client go after 7 years, they were like, "What the fuck, Rachel? You're giving up now?" And I was like, honestly, yeah, like I know I'm tenacious, but I'm realizing and I can really be accountable to like, we're not getting any better and this is not fun for me or for him. And so like I understand, it's just it's tricky. We're master like multitaskers. We can do so much. There's such a high capability and then there's also just like there's such a wisdom in understanding your capacity. And I think a big thing for me is like I'm in wanting to form this association and help educate people. Like you don't have to go to the struggle zone and be like pushed to the rock and the hard place to learn these lessons. There's actually a lot of wisdom that can be shared up until that point and help people to create more stable packs that like you don't have to get mauled, breaking up fights like I did, have dogs getting hurt or injured or lost or whatever, God forbid. And knock on wood, I've never lost a dog, but there's many pack walkers who have
yeah.
had things like that happen.
And one thing that I didn't mention that I wanted to, one of the reasons why I really wanted to do this, because I was really interested in being a part of a forum for people to learn from, because, I've got the structured daycare. We do pack walking elements in the daycare from station to station. But I also do encourage my clients to mix it up and to, like I share dogs with Terrence and I've sent dogs to you to kind of mix it up and give them this different kind of fulfillment. And then on the same token, I would have people, my clients who I've had their dogs for 4 years, and they would say, their pack walker says that, they're guarding the pack and they're reacting. And now I'm seeing that she's starting to become reactive. And the pack walker's saying, your dog's guarding. Is there something you can do to stop that? And, my first thing was that the structure's not there, the guidance isn't there. The dog shouldn't really feel like they own the pack. And unfortunately, the pack walker that you're with is not creating the environment for your dog to be the submissive dog that we all know.
Sure.
So you need to pull that dog, and here's Terrence. Terrence is like, stop referring me. So he's like, Renee, stop. So it's nice to kind of meet more people who are in line with understanding. It's not about grabbing as many dogs as you can, and
Yeah,
10 dogs equals $500 a day, ching ching. And the
sure.
great thing from learning everybody's stories is that in explaining how they got into this, it was all very organic and everybody kind of turned down money
Yeah,
because that wasn't the premise of I want to start this business. It
yeah,
came from I want to help dogs, and the money just follows. Like
yep,
when you're able to guide the dog and do what you're supposed to do, and the dog will change, as it has for many of us, all of us. Um, the referrals come in. I've never had to advertise or worry about money. If anything, I think my problem was I just felt like I had to keep saying yes.
sure.
And as I said the other day, it's gotten to the point where I have this massive business and I'm just spread too thin.
Sure.
But, I don't want to be saying to people, don't go with that pack walker. Do not go with the person you're going out with. They are creating problems for your dog. And like I said, it's our obligation to leave these dogs better than we found them.
Yeah,
And so if you are going to, work with packs of dogs, you need to start learning about how to do it, A, safely, but B, in a way that you can contribute to the benefit of them. And that's really why I started the daycare, was because I was sick of people putting their dogs in boarding and daycare and the dogs coming back after 2 weeks and being a shit show.
yeah, yep,
I was just like, you're spending all this money on training, and then your dog goes to daycare 3 times a week, and you're taking it to the dog park 5 days a week. And even
yeah,
with the amazing dog park uh, lecture that Andrew gave. It's sensational. However, the problem is the normal person, it's too far to comprehend.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into you being able to safely navigate the dog park, and
Trying to do
Andrew's
that.
like trying to like plant a little seed of like there could be something that's done differently, but like
Just the
it's at
education needs to
yeah,
get out there, you know. Um,
100%.
and people need to be walking around the dog park. Like his point of this person is just sitting there and the dogs are posted up. Like
Yeah,
these are things that people will just do instinctively. Like, we're here, I'll read my emails and you guys go play. It doesn't really work for the dogs that way. So, I'm
and it's
hoping.
almost like it's sorry to interrupt. I was gonna say it's almost like connected to, in all fairness, like the way that we actually tend to not socialize in public places as people. Like when you go into a coffee shop, back in the day, you go walk into a coffee shop and people are like ready to engage and interact or would have their little things, but they would be still, there's like some availability. Now you walk into a coffee shop and like every other person is on their phone. Like it actually stands out to be present in the moment. So it's like, it's not just at the dog park that's like the general state of mind. It's just in general there's a lot of passivity, and like to be fair, like dogs just require a lot of presence, so it's like trying to hit this societal thing also from like the entryway, which is like the dogs that are bringing it to our attention.
Absolutely. And especially the main key is humans think socialization is playing. And so the only form of socialization they do is I'll send them to a daycare or a dog park.
Sure.
They don't go on walks with their friends and their dogs and then go sit up and have a coffee and the dogs just lay down and hang. They don't go
Yeah.
on off leash hikes where there's travel involved. And it's so unnatural to be boxed into an area where there
Yeah.
is absolutely nothing for the dog to focus on apart from the craziness. So,
Totally. I
no
mean, I
one.
think you bring up a great point around like socialization between dogs typically involves some sort of movement and fulfillment aspect. Like even just like the cafe patio thing, like you can walk first and then go lay with your dogs, but like most people will just go straight to the cafe and then they're just sitting there and then they're like, why is my dog a shit show? And it's like there's a huge element of like the fulfillment movement migration piece that's just instinctual to dogs and
Yeah.
super helpful.
And even coincidentally, I just put up a post of this board and train puppy I was working with. It was just crazy when it saw dogs. I just couldn't get it to softly approach dogs. So I just took it down to um, uh, the beach down here where there's a lot of off leash dogs and just had it on a long line. In the beginning, she was just all over my dog and he just was not having it. And then over time, as we walked, she just chilled out. And then he was like, "Hey, kid, you're not." And he's like, "Let's play." And it's
Yeah,
like you just like see it happen, and you go, they don't want to meet and just go crazy, you know. They want to feel each other out first. They want to do something other than that, and then
totally.
the option of, "Hey, let's tussle for a little bit. Okay, let's keep walking."
Yeah,
So yeah. Oh, what a journey, babe. What a journey.
totally. Yeah, and it's like the parallels are the same with people as far as like the rarity that we would drop in and instantly vibe with someone and be like, oh my God, we're relating on so many levels. It's actually less common than more common. Yet we project this like expectation on our dogs of like, why are you not vibing right fucking now? I want you to be vibing. You're not vibing. So you must not be social at all. Let's go.
Client just a couple of days ago say to me, Renee, I see my dog and, sometimes she's not playing. Like, why doesn't she want to play with other dogs? And I said, she does play with other dogs. There's certain dogs that she enjoys playing with. But her go to when she's in the yard, she loves to sunbathe. She loves to fall asleep, and falling asleep with 20 dogs around her tells you that she feels safe. And once again, educating the play is not socialization, that's the dessert. So if she chooses to play, that's awesome. You don't have an aggressive dog, you have a social dog. Social
Sure.
being able to be around a dog and them not want to kill it, and to be
Yeah.
able to go on a walk and see another dog and not care, and hang out and a dog sniff it and it not care, and like that's the social stuff. And to the point of human socialization, we tend to need to go out and have a bunch of drinks to socialize. So that's kind of a dog park. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We don't really have the courage to communicate with people in a normal setting. And
sure.
we just kind of now hide behind our phones, but go out and have a few drinks and, you're chatting up to everybody. Uh,
Totally.
so there are so many correlations when it comes to balance in the human world and dogs. When you learn about what they need in their world, we can learn so much from dogs. So much. I've become such a better person because of dogs. And when I started, I was like, dog, 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 dog. Now I'm like, dog. As far as I just think they're the perfect being. I think that if we're open to it when we're working with them, we can learn so much about ourselves and so much about how to be better.
Absolutely. I mean, like dogs are honest. And to be fair, their honesty is a little bit confronting sometimes because they see some shit that I don't always want to see, or that my clients don't want to see, or whoever is interacting with the dog. And yeah, it takes a certain level of vulnerability to honestly be in relation with a dog and to still be able to hold yourself accountable in a neutral way, you know?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy right now as far as, I'll hear the problems that the dog has, and I'll see the dog, and I'll get on the phone and I'll say, they need to get off your bed. They got to stop following you around. They got to, all of this. And they go, how do you know that the dog's doing that? Or I'll say, are they doing XYZ? And they go, no, not really. No. And then they call me a few days later and say, Renee, I'm so sorry. I'm such a liar. I paid attention to it over the weekend. Constant. And I'm like, yeah, you don't really know these little things that happen until you look for them. And then
Yeah,
when you see it, you can connect it and go, oh, that's why they feel that way. So it really is true as far as dogs don't lie. Like I always watch my dog's behavior. Um, and my awesome group of trainers know this as well, because I'll call them out and they go, no, the dog doesn't do that to me. And I go, remember, dogs don't lie. And they go, yeah, maybe sometimes.
yeah,
So they really are just very honest beings. They're not doing shit to make you look bad, right? Um,
totally.
and it's not just, oh my goodness, he never does that. Oh, it's you know, it, we want to excuse and blame a lot of stuff away. It's hard to look at the truth because also it's hard to feel like we're doing something wrong, and it's not about that. It's about let's learn from this. Let's
Sure.
how can we do better for the dogs?
Absolutely. Mm. It's been such a beautiful conversation, Renee. I love everything that you bring to the
And we'll continue
table.
it when you come over.
Thursday is a yes, by the way. I'm gonna
Okay,
text you. Renee and I are gonna grab dinner on Thursday.
only the second time. No, yeah, the it'll be the third time we've hung out in a social setting over the last 10 years. So that,
So just that, you know.
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
But
I mean, one of the things that I'm excited for, like, around Terrence's lecture in the association is like also just the networking opportunities, not only just as like two professionals, but like something that I'd really love to see. When I first started walking dogs, I had a lot of clients that I would do trades with. Like I would walk people's dogs and they would like meal prep for me for the week, or I had one person that was like a massage therapist. Imagine we had within like our dog walking world, like you could have apprenticeships, people, mentees that have something to offer to bring to the space, like people that could film content for you or do different things. I just feel like this could also be such a beautiful opportunity for professionals like us to get more help and to allow opportunities for people to learn from us and have like a beautiful trade opportunity where it's still accessible. People can come learn. They bring something to the table that helps our businesses, and we also get to teach people and share the wisdoms and insights that we have.
yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, I would love to get somebody I'll walk anybody's dog for free if they can follow me around and just with a phone and do videos, because I've tried and I'm not good. I'm good with pictures, still shots, but the video thing is really hard for me, and I've tried and it makes a big difference. I think people that post videos versus just still shots of working with their pack are way more powerful and useful. So yeah, that's a great idea, and it does open up networking, because I think it's just great to share. It's sort of like the old way of doing things, and I think that would be great. I know, um, but yeah, this has been really good, and it's really great to hear your story, Renee. And yeah, I'm glad that we're able to share our experiences. And I'm not a very competitive person. It's funny, I've never been competitive in my entire life. And so for me, it's really great to see a group of pack walkers, and we're actually working together instead of, competing. And it's I'm just happy to see that. So because I'm one of those people that when I see somebody that's good at something, I just want to be around them and learn from them instead of being better than them or competing. So it's amazing for me to just be part of this and hear you guys' experiences. So thank you.
Thank you.
I love that, Rita. I like when you were speaking to that, where was my train of thought going here? I'm like highly competitive. Like I like if you put me like in the bowling alley, I'm not good, but like I will really try
Right.
hard.
I'll
And I think
pretend I'm good too.
Yeah.
yeah, but I think there's this element for me where honestly, and it's through pack walking that this has shifted for me. I'm like, how do we all come up together? And like
Yeah.
who wants to come with me? Like I'm trying to do this thing. I'm like excited, I'm passionate, I care a lot. Like who else is on the same page, and let's all go together, you know? There's like one of those
Exactly.
sayings that's like you want to go somewhere fast, go alone. You want to go far, do it together, I think is the quote. I think I nailed that. Yes, I was trying to
Yeah.
remember it. But
Yeah.
yeah, just allowing some opportunities. There's so many dogs out there that need support, so many different packs, so many different services that are helpful for people, and it definitely takes a village.
Yep. Yep.
And I think that also helped the competitiveness, as far as I was like, there are so many dogs to go around. There's too many. I gotta push these people onto these dogs onto somebody else. So
Yeah.
that really helps the competitiveness, because yeah, it's the well is not drying up. If anything, more people are having dogs versus children. It's too expensive
That's true.
today. And
Totally.
kids talk back. So uh, yeah, it's really good to be able to have resources where you can guide people to where that. Like I've had people move and say, Renee, do you know anybody in this area? I know I've reached out to Rachel and said, do you know anyone? Because like I've said, I've kind of stayed in my little bubble hole with my head down and haven't really connected. And I'll have, there's only so much time in the day. So honestly, it was really only Terrence, Rachel, and Sherry that I would watch all of their shit. And I'm like, I don't have any time for anybody else to watch any stuff, as well as putting up my own stuff. So, and even then, there's times when I just haven't seen, liked, or commented anything, because as soon as I've done what I needed to do on Instagram, I'm like, I need to be off. I need to get out of this. It's like my husband will say, do you think we could not talk about dogs tonight? It never happens. Never, 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 never happens.
Oh, bless him.
His go-to is, honey, switch off the brain. Switch off the brain. Because I'll say, you know what I was thinking with that dog? When I saw Black, he's like, honey, switch it off. Switch off work brain. Switch off work brain, honey. And then I go
Oh.
quiet because I have nothing to talk about.
Andrew and I had a little bit of that last night. I took him to this like beautiful like distillery that they had this whole like themed tasting, and like I've been very Packwalker Summit just saturated, and I just found myself like firing off on like 10 different things, and Andrew's just like, Yeah, like, I love you, baby. Yep, yep, yep.
I-
There
I
does become a time where it's just a little too much, you know?
I find it really hard going to social events, and the whole thing is don't tell anyone what I do. Don't tell
Oh,
any,
for sure.
and then I go there and I'll be sitting there for about 45 minutes, an hour, not feeling comfortable. And then I'll just be like, tell them what I do. And then, I've got three people around me asking me, so my dog does this, and I'm in my element. I've got something to talk about. Um,
Totally.
so it's the comfortability of I have lost myself willingly and happily in 10 years of just being hyper obsessed on learning more and dogs and dogs and dogs, that I really don't know how to talk about anything else.
Totally. Ah, well, Renee, this has been such an incredible conversation. Just thank you so much for sharing all your insights and making some time to just give us some of your time. I know you're a very busy woman, and I really appreciate you just taking the time to put together this lecture and show up for us.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Does anyone else have any last minute thoughts, feedback, things they would like to put in? You do have some comments here. Shauna says this has been very inspirational. Dylan says yes, so juicy, hearty eyes. And Jesse says so hard to switch off the brain when we're so passionate. I get it. Dylan says excellent, relatable, and validating. Thank ya. And Sierra says thank ya.
You're welcome, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, everyone. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening. We have one final lecture next week. It was a reschedule from this week. Eileen from Baby Pack Leader will be going on. But again, thank you, Renee. I hope you have a beautiful rest of the night, everyone, and take care.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.